are you all? I hope life is treating you well, and I hope you're getting to do great things with your time, giving yourself you time and just enjoying being. I'm popping on today just a quick video to show you some books, yes, more books that I've added to my collection, some tarot, some fiction, reference book, and some craft books, well, ephemera. I'm actually creating a couple of little journals for two friends of mine, and I'm looking forward to finishing them off. There's still a way to go. It's a new thing that I'm trying, and so if they're good enough, they'll be given as gifts. Right, what books am I looking at today? I picked this one up. This one I saw on a Facebook page, and it was the Hermit's Cave Facebook page, and I thought, oh, that looks like it's something I'd like to read. It's The Tales Behind the Tarot, and basically it is a collection of short stories, each story linked to one of the tarot cards. I've read one of the stories. The first one I read was about the Fool, and I have to say it was rather enjoyable. Like I say, they're literally very short stories, and now I'm going to be starting on The Magician, and look what I'm using for a bookmark, the big card that came with the Zama Twins Oracle. So let's have a read of the blurb on the back. Step into the mysterious, unforgettable world of tarot and discover the illuminating tales behind the 78 cards in the modern tarot deck in this introduction to the tarot unlike any other. Every tarot card has a story to tell and is rich in symbolic meaning. In this gorgeous book for aspiring and experienced tarot readers alike, expert practitioner Alison Davis brings the stories being told within each card to life. Follow the Fool on his journey through the major arcana as he travels down the path of life, meeting iconic characters along the way such as the Hermit, Death and the High Priestess. Learn the stories of the four suits in the minor arcana. Discover how three sisters rise to power in the suit of Pentacles, and watch as the world-changing idea is born in the suit of Wands. With themes to help you understand the meanings of these iconic cards, use this storybook as a tool to learn the tarot so that you can take your tarot reading to the next level and apply their unique wisdom to your own life. Now, I do hold tarot groups here in my home, and to be honest with you, they're really enjoyable. And prior to me seeing this book even, we create our own little small stories. It's something that I feel that if you can weft and weave a tale when you have your tarot cards in front of you, you can put together not just taking a reading and saying, well, okay, this could be this or that, but you're saying, right, and you're able to narrate a story based around your querent's life, and it's really powerful. And that's the sort of thing that's done here. Many years ago, it was, just bear with me, it was Amy Zerner and, oh gosh, I can't remember the surnames, I'm sorry, just bear with me. Oh, anyway, it was a tarot deck, the Enchanted Tarot, I think it is. They produced a kit, and it had a CD in it, or a DVD that you could pop in and play, and it's shown you an animated story of the Fool going through the major and minor arcana. So this isn't a new concept, but it's nice to see that it's been put into book format by somebody, and it can be used for referencing, because if we look at how many people remember things, if you're given, say, a book that's got just straightforward basic historical meanings of a card, it's a case of having to almost recite that in your head in order to refer back to it, as well as using any intuitive skills that you are. But if you're going through meaning of a card, when you've got something like this, it's far easier to remember a story than it is to remember some facts. There are little things that would come in that, oh yes, I remember the Fool did this, and you can follow on through there. So this is a book that I feel will be a good tool on many tarot readers, tarot practitioners' desks in their library, particularly if you want to pass the joy of tarot on to somebody else, which I do. I know my youngest son is very interested in tarot. The second book I'm going to show you today is a fictional story, and it's The Second Sight of Zachary Cloudsley. It's written by Sean Lusk, and it was a winner of the Between the Covers BBC Two Awards. Let's have a look at what it's about. I have actually started it. It's inventive, fantastical and memorable. It's London 1754, and young Zachary Cloudsley is raised among the cogs and creations of his clockmaker father, Abel's workshop. He is an unusual child, the bearer of an extraordinary gift. At the touch of a hand he can see into the hearts and minds of people he meets. When his father is sent on a dangerous mission to Constantinople and doesn't return, Zachary is determined to solve the mystery of Abel's disappearance. Armed with only his gift, he sets off on a perilous journey halfway across the world. Bonnie Garmus wrote one of the best books I've read this year, completely unforgettable. And Sarah Cox from the Radio Times wrote, beautifully written with brilliant characters, really transports you to a different time and place. So this is the book, The Second Sight of Zachary Cloudsley. I've just started it. I'm heading into chapter 2 now. And in that first chapter, the book does grip you. It's quite a sad occurrence, but I'm not going to give anything away. It does grip you. And what I like is when authors do furnish us with maps of the area of that time, even if it is a fictitious place and time, it all adds to that ambience of mystery and enjoyment and an adventure. This I picked up in the works in the next town, Gorey, in County Wexford. I picked this up the other day, and this is a book by Chris Gosden, and it's The History of Magic. Now, I was asked once by somebody here on YouTube, would I consider the practice that I do magic? And at the time I said, no, not necessarily magic. It's just something I do that's ritualistic for me, that helps me put me at ease, either A, before I've got somebody coming for a reading, or I'm just feeling that I need to protect my space and myself and brushing out negativity from the door, etc., etc. And when I actually stopped and thought about it, but these are magical practices. What you do, Elaine, is magical. You use the moon to cleanse your decks and your crystals. You make moon water. You use moon water in your floor steamer when you're cleaning your floors, along with essential oils to give a great energy. I use moon water in some of my cooking too. I do have my altar. I do use candles and salt and coffee and cinnamon and the little I Ching coins and everything else to bring goodness and happiness into the home. And I do put salt down the end of my drive along with cinnamon. Sometimes I do make black salt to put a line of protection from the outside to the inside of our home, and it's used with good intention. And any salt that I have made for a particular reason, if I haven't used it, then I take it away from the home. I take it to a ditch where there's no cattle grazing or anything else, and I'll put it into a little hole in the ground and it's gone. So do I now consider what I do as magic? Well, if that's magic, then yes. So this really drew me, okay? And I will read the back of this book to you. Breathtaking. Now, this is by John Carey of the Sunday Times, and another review by Francis Pryor, the author of The Fens. So John Carey states it's breathtaking in scope and full of fascinating discoveries. Francis Pryor stated extraordinary, exhilarating and essential reading. So let's have a look. 3 great strands of practice and belief run through human history. That's science, religion and magic. As Professor Chris Gosden argues in this bold and unprecedented account, magic, the idea that we have a connection with the universe and that the universe responds to us, actually precedes both religion and science. It has been with us from the curses and charms of ancient Greek, Roman and Jewish magic to the shamanistic traditions of Eurasia, indigenous America and Africa, and from the alchemy of the Renaissance through colonial dismissals of magic as backwards to quantum physics today, where magic and science converge. Drawing on his decades of research around the world and with incredible breadth and authority, This timely history of human thought across thousands of years rightly shows that magic has played in shaping civilization. And this really did grip me, because then I thought, again, I'm referring back to the ancestral tarot that I've been doing, and that goes back centuries, where all these magical practices were taking place, and as it states, before religions, before sciences. So is it a cross of the two, or it's a third party coming in and borrowing bits, or no, not borrowing bits at all. They borrow bits from magic and see, how do things work? At the end of the day, magic is here as well. I find simply working in my garden magic. In my greenhouse, even more magical. I find sitting here and creating magic. What I do to bring peace and harmony into my life, magical. So what I liked when I first looked in this book, again, it's another one where I've gone in, you've got a timeline, okay, there's a timeline of as far back as, sorry, I do apologise. This is first of all telling us what the illustrations are in the book, and then it goes on to, just bear with me, there's loads of illustrations and charts and various other things. It then goes to the tables, which brings us through different time periods, from a chronology of the late glacial to the mid-Holocene. Okay, so it goes right the way through, bringing us right through to changes in Europe, etc. And I'm just going to read this very first paragraph, and the chapter is chapter 1, What is Magic and Why It's Important. And just as a very, very, very brief hello to this book, for tens of thousands of years, and in all parts of the inhabited world, people have practiced magic. Today it is still commonplace, despite many predictions that it would die out, surviving even attempts to eradicate it. When people confront the big issues of life and death, when they desire to know the future or to understand the past, to protect themselves from harm, cure illness or promote well-being, they often turn to magic. In just some of magic's myriad manifestations, witchcraft is seen to bring harm. The spirits of the dead talk to the living, and the evil eye amulet protects a household. Yes, I have one of them too. Magic can be scholarly and philosophical, leading on to larger questions about the nature and meaning of reality. Or homespun and practical, used to remove warts or cure sick cows. It's experimental, changeable, and inventive. And that is so true. What I have been doing is homespun. It's practical, experimental, changeable, and inventive. I do my own stuff, So on that note, that drew me in straight away, because I love that. And that's only part of this initial chapter as to why magic is important. I think before I read any further on that, for me, why is magic important? It's important because it gives us a positive spin on life. It gives us, when we are actively practicing something and we put that belief, our belief, into what we're doing, it manifests what we want. As long as, for me, I don't use it for revenge. I don't use it to get even. I don't use it to cause harm to either myself or others. I don't use it to hopefully encourage karma to come and bite somebody on the backside, because I believe anything like that will come back and bite you on the backside too. I use it for growing my plants. I use it for feeling positive. I use it to keep negativity from the front door. I use it for peace, tranquility, and for my own enjoyment. I use it in my cooking. I use it in any breads I bake. I love it, and it gives me a very, very good feeling of peace and harmony. So that is what I think, and I think this book is going to go a long way to giving me a lot more to think about. So that is The History of Magic by Chris Gosden. Okay. Now, the last couple of books that I'm going to show you are literally, if you're into crafting and stuff, Vintage Book of Ephemera. I ordered these only Monday and they arrived yesterday. And you can either cut out the ephemera and glue it onto your craft, or if you have a printer at home, you can photograph it and send it to your printer, or you can photocopy it if your printer is a photocopier too. So it's got all sorts of ephemera in it. Those are you can use the back if you just want something for a background, or you can use the pictures inside. Look at that. Aren't they just beautiful? So all these are books of ephemera that you can use to create. Now this one is the Vintage Book, the Vintage Book Love ephemera. So it's got quotes in from Edgar Allan Poe, from Oscar Wilde, from Emily Bronte, and from many other authors through time. So that's lovely. And then we have the Witchy Forest ephemera, which again you can photocopy, you can cut out and glue. You've got creatures. Look at that. Look at the tabs up there. Aren't they just beautiful? Look at them. I don't think I'll be cutting out these. I think I will be photocopying them, printing them off and using the copies, because I think this is a resource that can be used time and time again. So folks, oh, also it has tarot cards in this one. That's another thing. I thought, oh look, we've got some tarot ephemera. There we have Justice, and they're sprinkled out throughout the book. And of course, my little tarot stickers that I'm going to add one or two in through the journals that I'm making for my friends. So people, that's what's new here. I also purchased myself, I got myself some new oils the other day. I got, those two are downstairs, but I'll just put some of this on. I got lemon Mei Chang and lemon balm lemongrass, sorry, that I will put in my burner. This is something I ordered a long time ago. Now this is actually Winter Witch, but I love the smell of it. It's Winter Witch roll-on. It's an oil, and it's a scent that, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. I've had that for a while, and I just bob it on every now and again. And of course, I got my Dragon Blood incense as well. So that has been my little bit of a haul that I sort of went on the other day. For craft, for building up my library, and for sharing with you. So guys and girls, if you're watching this, I hope you're having a wonderful day, the start of a wonderful day. It's looking gorgeous outside, so a neighbour and I are going out cycling in a second to the lavender farm. So I'll pop some photos up later on if I remember. Take care. Thank you for joining me, and like I say, have a wonderful day. Bye now.